Coming up, London's hospitals hit as junior doctors go on strike, plus the curvy curb that's causing controversy. Tonight, London's hospitals under pressure as junior doctors go on strike.
Save our NHS!
Save our NHS!
Thousands took to the picket lines on the first of a 4-day walkout. Staff say it's over pay and patient safety. The government says union demands are unrealistic.
I'm going from patient to patient, just stabilising them, not being able to give them the best care because there's simply not enough time, there's not enough doctors, is an awful feeling.
Also ahead, out of the running for a job because of his afro hair, but the Ritz says it doesn't condone discrimination of any kind. Is this the most controversial curb in the capital? The small street in Islington causing a big headache for drivers. And
I'm at the Trafalgar Theatre for a very special awards ceremony. Oh no, I'm not. Oh yes, I am. Well, that's a massive clue as to what on earth it's for. I'll see you soon.
good evening. Thousands of junior doctors across the capital began a 4-day walkout today in a strike over pay and conditions. It's inevitably left many of London's hospitals under increased strain, with tens of thousands of appointments and procedures likely to be cancelled as a result. And tonight, there seems to be no sign of a resolution, as the government has said the union's demands are unrealistic. Well, Natalia Hulkera has been speaking to junior doctors on the picket lines today, and she joins us from Whittington Hospital in North London. And Natalia, just explain for us the impact that this is having on hospitals.
Well, the strikes are impacting the majority of London hospitals. I'm here at Whittington Hospital. Now, Whittington Trust announced that they will be postponing all non-emergency procedures so they have enough staff on site to deal with emergency care. Now, earlier I met with junior doctors who are picketing down at University College London Hospital, who say that this is really a last resort for them and that they apologise to any patients affected by the action, but say this is not just about a pay rise, but this is about protecting patients too.
Save our NHS!
Save our NHS!
From University College London Hospital to Charing Cross, St Mary's, St Thomas and Whipps Cross, thousands of junior doctors across the capital have swapped wards for picket lines.
What do we want? Pay!
They're calling for better pay that is in line with inflation, but doctors say these strikes are as much for patient safety as they are for pay. Dr Sumi Manirajan is a second-year medical student who is already feeling burnt out because of the lack of junior doctors.
When I'm going from patient to patient, just stabilising them, not being able to give them the best care because there's simply not enough time, there's not enough doctors, is an awful feeling. It's really demoralising. And I go home actually reeling, thinking about the patients and wondering, actually, have I made a mistake because I've done this so fast, trying to stabilise patients? Have I administered something wrong? Have I been able to give the best care? Have I missed something? And that's the feeling that really lasts with you, it stays with you.
4 in 10 doctors in the UK are planning to leave the NHS, and many on the picket line feel that if a pay rise can't be reached, then they will have no other alternative.
A lot of my friends have gone to Australia, New Zealand, America, and because they get paid, sometimes twice as much money, and they don't have the same working conditions that we have.
The NHS says emergency services will be prioritised this week, but in London alone, more than 50,000 appointments and procedures are set to be cancelled.
Today we have consultants and specialty doctors, as in all strike days, that are stepping down to cover junior doctors. These are the most experienced people in the country. They are world-class doctors, the very best in the world, and they will be providing that care. So the message to the public is if you're having a health issue, an emergency health issue, please come to your A&E as normal.
However, today is just the first of 4 days of strike action. Negotiations have yet to start, and the longer we wait for a resolution, the longer patient safety will inevitably be put at risk.
Well, Natalia, as you just said, this is day 1, 3 more days of strike action planned. Where exactly are we with resolution talks, if any?
Well, number 10 says that they are not willing to speak to the British Medical Association unless junior doctors abandon their starting position of a 35% pay rise and call off the strikes. Now, the BMA says that they are actually willing to start negotiating, but it is the Health Secretary, Steve Barclay, who is the one that is not willing to start the talks. So it does seem that we are quite a way away from any solution.
All right, Natalia out of Whittington, thank you. Next, the Londoner who says he withdrew from a job interview with the Ritz after he was told his hairstyle wasn't allowed. Jarrell Jules was sent a document by the prestigious hotel which clearly states unusual hairstyles, including afros, were banned. The Ritz has since said it doesn't condone discrimination of any form, but Jarrell says he was left shocked and disappointed. He spoke to our senior correspondent, Ronke Phillips.
So I would describe it as hair discrimination. Hair discrimination ends up turning into racial discrimination.
Jarrell Jules was excited when he made it through to the final round of interviews at one of the world's most prestigious luxury brands. Then he read the rules for staff personal presentation and in the small print discovered the five-star hotel had a grooming policy which banned what it calls unusual hairstyles such as spiky hair, afro style. Jarrell says this puts black people at a clear disadvantage.
Of course. My concern is that it makes it feel like it's hard for us to then assimilate into jobs like this because we're therefore not seen as equal, or what's deemed as professional and acceptable for us isn't translated into the commercial arena.
Jarrell acknowledges a luxury brand like the Ritz has certain expectations when it comes to dress code, but says this is entirely different.
I think those metrics can be deemed in other ways, such as talking about the length of hair. They said perhaps to be clean shaven. All of those things I'm absolutely okay with. But to ostracize people with afro hair, that's the part that I find concerning.
Don't think I've ever seen a policy that is so discriminatory of this. It's so blatantly aimed at people on the basis of their appearance, on the basis of their race, making judgments about them, not on their ability to do a job, but on who they are. It's utterly shocking.
This is not the first time the issue of hair and ethnicity has been raised in relation to people applying for jobs. In 2015, a graduate was turned down for work by an employer who told her we cannot accept braids. 2 years later, a woman applying for a job at a department store claimed she was told she needed to chemically straighten her hair. And in 2018, a student applying for work at a London company was sent a guide saying no ponytails, braids or dreadlocks. Race is a protected characteristic under the 2010 Equality Act, which means people shouldn't be discriminated against because of their hair or hairstyle if it's associated with their race or ethnicity.
I think Ritz is a really good test case study for all employers to say, how are we doing? Actually, do we understand the law and are we applying the law correctly? And all our staff, do they understand how afro hair should be included in just everyday workplaces?
In a statement, the Ritz Hotel says it does not condone discrimination of any form, and we're genuinely committed to fostering an inclusive and non-discriminatory environment for all our colleagues and guests. Despite reports to the contrary, Jarrell says he's not heard or had any direct apology from the Ritz. He turned down their interview request, but says he is willing to work with them on improving inclusivity at the Landmark Hotel if they contact him.
Oh, okay. This is interesting, isn't it? What are the wider implications of all this?
Well, do you know what this is about? This is about ending harmful stereotypes and giving young black people the confidence to be themselves and in themselves. I mean, natural hair is not a dress code. It's part of a person's being. It's part of a black person's identity. And I choose to straighten my hair, but nobody should be discriminated against because they don't want to. I mean, they should not have to do that to fit into the mainstream culture. And I think the Ritz really has a chance here to send out a wider message. They are one of the world's most well-known hotels, so the way they handle this is key.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Some other news now. A Metropolitan Police officer has been dismissed without notice for sexual assault. Trainee Detective Constable Christopher Brown had pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a female colleague off duty in a London bar. A subsequent hearing found he breached behaviour standards. And a 66-year-old man from Surrey has denied sending an offensive email to Labour Party Deputy Leader Angela Rayner in May 2023. David Perry from Weybridge faces 2 charges for grossly offensive and indecent, obscene or menacing messages. Well, Perry told police his computer might have been hacked. Now to the changes to the shape of a curb in one small street in Islington that could have big implications. The new wavy curb in Charlton Place is designed to slow down drivers and stop them from parking, but some local shop owners say it could put them out of business altogether. They've been speaking to Divya Kohli.
Some call it a hidden gem full of quirky shops and eateries, but change has come to the 18th century streets of Charlton Place and Camden Passage in Islington. New wavy curbs are causing concern. They're being installed to slow cars down, to discourage parking and to create a safer cycling route. Some business owners welcome the new look.
I think it's beautiful. I think people have a problem with change. If the street looks a lot more appealing, you're going to be walking down it. So I know if I see like a nice street, say like Carnaby Street, which has got like a sign and everything over it, and it has like a lot more draw to it. So if something looks more visually appealing, I'm going to walk that way, you know? So it's going to bring a lot more foot flow around here.
It may seem like a small section of roadworks, but actually it's having a significant impact on some businesses, especially independents, who are really struggling. Like Bulletin, who runs a family framers business. Deliveries of glass and art can't be made because of new restrictions. He's had to carry heavy packages himself, a real distance away from his shop.
As we're framers, we use large sheets of glass, we work on large-scale format artwork. If our galleries and customers which use us for that kind of work cannot bring it through, we just can't carry on as a business on the passage. We've built this business for a very long time and it's just taking it away, it's killing it.
David has lived on Camden Passage since he was a child, now running his parents' Japanese art gallery. He says the council hasn't responded to many concerns.
We've asked them to stop spending any further money and to come to clear agreements, have a consensus from the community and make sure that the public money spent is in line with the needs of the community.
Some shops hope the money would be spent on making the area more secure, with better lighting and CCTV after a spate of break-ins. Islington Council says we know how popular an area Camden Passage is, and the redesigned carriageway will help improve safety for the many pedestrians who cross between the 2 sections of the passage by slowing down traffic that currently cuts through the area. Business owners are due to meet with the council later this month. By then, it could be too late for those losing trade on a daily basis. Divya Kohli, ITV News.
Next tonight, former footballer, now pundit, Ian Wright has returned to his old primary school to open a brand new pitch named after him and his childhood friend David "Rocky" Rocastle. After starting out together, they both went on to become Arsenal stars, but tragically, Rocky died of cancer when he was just 33. The Rocky and Wrighty Arena overlooks the estate they grew up on in southeast London. It's hoped it'll give more young players the chance they had to make it to the top. Here's Rags Martel.
Hey, come, let's go to the pitch, man.
Back to his old school.
Arsenal's the best. Arsenal's the best ever, huh?
With a gift of a new pitch. The Rocky and Wrighty Arena.
What will it mean for the kids to have an all-weather pitch that can use all the time?
It's the one, isn't it? It's the nectar. It's like, you know, a pitch that you can use all year round with floodlights, so you can use it at a time of night, 7 till 10 o'clock, where, you know, that's where people maybe be getting up to mischief if they didn't have a place like this.
But one teacher kept Ian Wright away from mischief. Sydney Pigden taught at the Turnham Academy in southeast London and changed the footballer's life.
If anybody can be as fortunate as I was to have a teacher that recognised something in me that a lot of people didn't see when I was 7, I just needed a bit more help. What he done for me is something that every time I think about it, it's just like, wow, I'm so fortunate.
Later in life, the two were reunited.
Mr. Pigden, you're alive. I'm alive, he says. How are you doing? I'm so glad you've done so well with yourself.
Everyone's seen that clip of you with Mr. Pigden.
That was his classroom Upstairs is where me and Mr. Pigden used to do all our work.
In a way, is this you being a Mr. Pigden to the youth of today?
I couldn't be a Mr. Pigden, but that's what he wanted to do. And you know what I mean? It's an amazing sacrifice that I benefited from him.
This pitch is also named after David Rocky Rocastle, a younger pupil at Turnham who got signed by Arsenal first.
In the end, he almost, he pushed me into making sure I'd done more to try and get the opportunities. Didn't take the opportunities, and then, now this is where I am. The rest is history, they say.
Quick question about Arsenal. Have they blown it?
What are you talking about? Are they blown it? How you come with me with a question like, are they blown it just because we drew at Liverpool? Liverpool was still at the top of the table. It's still in our hands.
How much are you going to use it?
Probably lots of times.
It means a lot to me because we're used to playing on muddy pitches, but now I think I'm going to love playing on this ground.
But this field of dreams is building another legacy, one goal at a time. Rags Martel, ITV News.
Now, a London cabbie who's helped drive families of refugees from the Ukrainian border has a new plan to help those in the war-torn country. Richard Goff is driving his old taxi all the way to a hospital in Lviv, which desperately needs vehicles with wheelchair access. Kath Opata spoke to him.
Richard Goff might seem like your average cabbie, but wait till you hear some of the places he's driven to. Last year, he made a trip to Poland to help evacuate 27 refugees fleeing the war in Ukraine. Today, he's off on another journey to Eastern Europe.
Due to the mayor's clean air plan, most diesel cabs are set to be scrapped. This one, however, will be taking a different turn, and tonight it heads off on a 1,000-mile journey to its final destination, the war-torn country of Ukraine.
The beauty of the London taxi, obviously for Ukraine, for helping them in Ukraine, is it's wheelchair accessible.
Richard's plan is to donate this cab to a hospital in Ukraine, making it no longer a transport for passengers, but for patients injured by the war.
They haven't got very many wheelchair accessibles in Ukraine, and obviously because so many people have been disabled in the war, they're in great need of this type of vehicle in Ukraine.
While in Ukraine, Richard is also planning on meeting up with Yulia's husband, one of the refugees he drove here last year.
In Ukraine, because I love Ukraine. It's our country, it's our life. Here, very nice, very beautiful, but it's not our life.
We're also taking some packages out.
It's not just the cab which is off to Ukraine. Tucked away in these boxes is a very special letter to Yulia's husband.
Letter for Daddy.
We're not allowed to read it, but I did get a sneak peek to what's inside.
We love you so much and we miss you so much. I love you.
Kath Opata, ITV News.
The weather is still to come, but first, forget about the Olivier's. There's another big awards ceremony in the West End tonight, and the prizes will be awarded to dames of another kind. Sally Williams is down at the Trafalgar Theatre. Sally, he's behind you.
Very good. I wondered which one you were going to throw at me, Lucrezia. Yes, it is Biggins, and we're here for the Panto Awards. Have you ever heard of that? What an amazing idea.
Is it Lucrezia?
Lucrezia, yeah.
Hi, darling. How are you? Anyway, sorry, go on.
She says she's absolutely fine and she can't wait to come and see you later. Isn't that right, Lucrezia? How many dames are we going to have in this room tonight, Biggins?
Hundreds. They'll be queuing up as we speak outside the theatre. It's a wonderful way, having these awards, which are fairly new. I've been doing them now for 4 years. And it's a wonderful way because pantomime is so important.
Oh, I know. I love it.
It is a wonderful thing. But also, we are a breeding ground for theatre because, A, if people like the pantomime they've seen, they'll go and book for next year's pantomime. But more importantly, they'll book for other theatre shows. So we're keeping theatre alive.
It's all down to you. What would we do without you?
Well.
And what can people expect tonight? Is it quite wild in here?
Well, it is wild. I don't know whether we're going to have, because there's been this controversy over people singing in auditoriums.
Well, I mean, I was going to ask you, because obviously the Bodyguard up in Manchester had to close, didn't it?
And we shan't be closing people people tonight, I can assure you, because, of course, pantomime encourages audience participation, and hopefully there'll be no singing, because I'd be furious if I'd paid a lot of money to go and see something and someone started singing next to me off tune.
What would you do?
I'd probably ask them to leave.
You must have seen some incredible things in theatres during your time of people trying to join in, haven't you?
Yeah, I think my favourite bit of a pantomime, without any doubt, is the song sheet.
Yeah.
You know, and it is wonderful to have kids up on the stage and to find out. And they are, of course, because they're kids, they don't know, they don't care, and they're wonderful audiences. And they say the most wonderful things. It's fantastic.
And what's the naughtiest thing you've seen an audience member do?
Oh, dear, oh dear. Well, I have actually had, I think, about 4 women on the front row feeding their babies on their breast. And that's always quite interesting. As you look down, you suddenly see this nice breast and a baby feeding on it. You think, well, I feel quite hungry now.
Mildly off-putting, but very important. And tell me, you've obviously done a lot of theatres yourself. You've done, was it 46 years you've been doing it?
46 years in pantomime. I can't believe it. I mean, I went to Darlington last year where I started my career as a pantomime dame, but it was 46 years ago. Wow. And I love it. I mean, pantomime is extraordinary. It's wonderful to envelop the whole audience. And, you know, as I said, you can appear before women breastfeeding their babies, people going in wheelchairs, old people, young people. It's everybody can come and enjoy it, and everybody loves it.
Oh, well, listen, I hope it goes really well tonight. I'm sure you've got a few things up your sleeve for them.
I might have.
I hope no one puts you off. And hope you don't put me off now. Here's the weather. Let's take a little look at what's going on. It's dry in here.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles. Car, charger and energy.
Well, the bank holiday might be out of the way, but hopefully we've got plenty more of these to come. Gorgeous little babies. It is, of course, spring. We've also got plenty more rain tonight. And then tomorrow, after a bright start, we are looking at more showers moving in and the winds picking up as well. And with those conditions, it is going to feel quite chilly tomorrow, certainly colder than today. And we have got a wind warning in place to the south of Greater London for parts of Kent and Sussex and Surrey. And that's kicking in from about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, lasting most of the day. There could be some fairly strong gusts outside. Right, let's take a look at the rest of the detail for tonight. So not looking particularly beautiful on the graphics. Plenty of rain making its way across the capital. Quite gusty as it comes through and a bit heavy at times too. Once it's out of the way though, quite a different second half to the night with some clear skies, and it will get a little bit chilly with those clear skies. The temperatures down to the low single figures. There might even be a touch of frost around in the countryside first thing tomorrow morning. So it gets off to a cold start tomorrow, but all being well, a nice bright one at the moment with some sunshine. However, the day goes a little bit downhill. The winds are going to pick up as we go through the day, creating some strong gusts, as I mentioned, and showers move in as well. And by the afternoon, some of them could be quite heavy and persistent, and there might even be a bit of hail and thunder in the mix. And with those conditions, those temperatures will feel down. You can see that now, probably closer to low single figures. So a bit of a cold one tomorrow. And if you've got plans for tomorrow evening, not a huge amount of change. We have still got those showers moving through and those quite strong winds. As the evening progresses, things will improve, and as we head into Thursday, at the moment, a slightly better day with some sunny spells. By Friday, a bit more rain again. Right, that is us all. Hear from us all tonight. We'll see you later on. Cheerio.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles.
Thanks, Sally. And that is all for now. We are back with the latest after news at 10. Mary's next with the ITV Evening News. But from me and everyone on the London team, bye-bye.